Hey y'all, welcome in, welcome in. My name is Hannah, and today is the first ever episode of Sinister Sunday. In this podcast, I will be reading you guys spooky stories. We are talking anything paranormal, true crime, or glitch in the matrix, anything that's going to give you chills and possibly even keep you up at night. I do have 5 spooky stories for you guys today, and I am super excited. The last story, I will be blind reacting to it with you guys. And I'm nervous. I'm the chills already thinking about what I'm about to read you guys. But anyway, I'm sure you guys want me to stop talking and go ahead and get into the story. So if you do end up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you never miss a video. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm so excited. All of today's stories are from Reddit. I'm sure in the future you guys will be able to share stories for me. And if I leave this little clip in, I probably have an email down below that you guys can submit your stories in. So definitely read the description if I kept that in. This first story is from r/ghost stories. It's titled The Girl in the Mirror. I already don't freaking like mirrors. We have all seen those videos where people are looking in the mirror and they turn or move or something and their reflection doesn't. So I saw the title and instantly knew that it was going to give me chills regardless of what it was. So let me shut up and read it. When I was a teenager, I loved staying up late during vacations dancing in my room all night. In my room, there was a tall mirror that stood on the floor. One night, as usual, I was dancing away when my eyes landed on a new little digital camera. At that time, phones weren't as advanced as they are now, and the quality of the photos wasn't great either. The camera was pink and my sister had bought it. I don't know why, but in that moment an idea came to me. I wanted to take a selfie, but one that would show my whole body. So I placed the mirror on my bed so it was a bit higher and stood in front of it. I grabbed the camera, pointed it to the mirror, and clicked to take the photo. When I looked at the picture, I froze. For a moment, I was in complete shock. There I was, in the picture, but there was something else. I saw a flashlight in the mirror, and when I looked just near my head, I saw a girl. She was looking over my shoulder, staring at me through the mirror. She had a pale, almost white face with long black hair and black eyes. It wasn't just a reflection or something weird in the lighting, it was her. She was in the photo with me, just as I was there too. I was so scared that I instantly deleted the picture, as if doing so would make her presence disappear. Girl, why the hell? Why'd you delete it? I ran out of my room and down to the living room. It was about 3 a.m. and everyone is asleep. Of course it was 3 a.m. I couldn't bring myself to wake anyone up. I had already deleted the photo and I regretted it immediately because now I had no evidence to show when I would tell my story. I sat down in the living room for about 20 minutes trying to calm myself down before finally heading back upstairs to my bed. I never saw that girl again, but there were moments after that I felt a strange presence. The creepy part is that later, when I told my mom what had happened, she told me something unsettling. Apparently, the previous owner of the house had a daughter who had taken her own life. We had been living in the house for almost 3 years at that point. This all happened when I was about 16 years old. I am now 35. Still, when I think about it, I get chills down my spine. Y'all. I do want to say I did not know the last part. So, I'm going through it right now. What sucks about the story is that she doesn't have proof, so the comments don't believe her. Someone even said, this is a classic case of hallucination, nothing paranormal here. I believe her. I also would have woken someone up. There is no way that I would have just sat there trying to calm myself down. If I saw that crap, hell no. I ain't going back to bed for the rest of the night. But yeah, that was a really great story. Definitely gave me the chills. I want to know what you guys think about it down below. Do you believe it? Do you not believe it? I'm currently editing the video, and I didn't even mention how OP literally saw the daughter that took her own life. Like, the story was only good because of that last part. Like, if it was just, okay, she saw, like, something weird in the damn mirror, I'm like, girl, you don't even have proof. That last part sealed it for me, and I was like, okay, that's insane. Now, was it the greatest? I said that was a really great story. I don't think that it was, like, the greatest story ever. I really think that it was a little, like, gave me the chills, but it wasn't crazy, okay? Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This one is from r/ghost stories as well. It's titled Ghost Encounter. This happened around 20 years ago. I was around 11 or 12 and I woke up from my sleep in the middle of the night. There was a figure standing in my door, darker than the night if that makes sense, and it was very large. I hid under the blanket and peeked through. It started walking towards me. It sat on my bed and started choking me. Oh my god. And I tried to scream to wake someone up, but I couldn't. I was both frozen in fear and had something heavy on my chest. I managed to squeal enough to wake up my older brother who was in the room next door. As soon as he turned on the light in his room, something started screaming through the house and made a huge banging sound, down the stairs, ending with a bang on the bin, which I'm assuming is a trash can. My brother ran into my room and my parents also woke up. They came in and I spent the rest of the night in my brother's room. The next day, my dad told us that while that was happening to me, he was having a dream. Something walked through the house, past his room, and he was in bed and saw it, so he followed it and it went into my room. It sat on my bed, and Dad was holding a camera walking behind it. He then yelled at the thing to leave me alone, and when it looked at him, the camera broke into small pieces, and that's when he woke up. By far, crazy experience in my life, and nothing like that has ever happened to me since. This one is so interesting. The fact that the dad was dreaming of the situation that was happening is insane. And it sounds like everyone in the house kind of heard what was happening too, and that's why everyone kind of woke up. I'm not sure what this was though. Like, was this a shadow person or a poltergeist? A demon? I don't think it was a poltergeist, because it wasn't messing with things around the room. It literally was trying to hurt him. Or spook him. And this one doesn't have that many comments either. Everybody's just talking about how horrible and terrifying it is, and that they are glad that the brother came to help, pretty much. One of the comments says that it sounds like it would make for a decent movie, though, and I agree. I think that would be really freaking creepy. I cannot imagine something sitting on me and choking me. What do y'all think of this one? Do you guys think it was a shadow person or a demon, or what are we thinking with this one? That one made me a little nauseous. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So this one is from Our Paranormal. This one is titled I Live in the Heart of Appalachia, and this is easily the most terrifying story of one of my experiences. Appalachia is already insane. We're talking Bigfoot, the Mothman, Thunderbirds. I mean, there's literally so many creepy things in Appalachia. I have no interest being around there. I'm lying, I definitely want to go there. But anyway, let's go ahead and read. This story may be short or it may be drawn out. I am recounting these events as I type, as it was honestly one of the most horrifying things I've had to experience, and it brings me genuine stress to think about. This happened maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I live in southern West Virginia and have for my entire life. The woods and mountains surround every direction you look, and the nighttime is a darkness that you can never dream of unless experienced. I was with a friend, I'll call him Mark. Mark was at my house one evening doing the usual things, watching UFC, playing Xbox, etc. It was extremely late when we finally got bored and decided to go for a walk on a nearby trail to smoke, if you know what I mean. This was not a particularly long trail, but it is very dense in the woods that surround it, and it is very easy to get freaked out when thinking of your surroundings. We finally get to about halfway in the trail, about 30 minutes in, where we stop, pack our and stand on the trail to chill and talk. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but over on TikTok we call it gardening. So, that's what they're doing. The forest is very alive tonight. There are always noises in the woods, but the amount of animal activity for the time was unsettling. At this point, it was probably past 1 a.m. This was strange and kind of eerie, but not alerting, as any sort of predatory animal in the area may cause a disturbance. We finish smoking and continue our walk when almost immediately the forest falls dead quiet. I'm already scared. And as soon as the forest goes quiet, there is a voice. It almost sounds like a mocking humanoid voice, shaky and uncertain, almost like an old children's toy. Like the ones with the crackly speakers and the robotic voice, if you know what I mean. Ew, 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 ew. This immediately sets us off. We bolt directly down the opposite length of the trail. But the sound does not gain distance. I'm sorry, imagine being high and experiencing this. This is awful. It doesn't get closer per se, but no matter how far we ran down the trail, this eerie voice remains the same volume, going over and over with no quieting or stopping. At this point, I am convinced that we are in genuine danger, something I have felt very few times. Finally, after sprinting for who knows how long, we exit the trail, gasping for breath, almost at the verge of tears of how frightening this was. We begin to exit the trail, and about 5 minutes from the exit, there is a bone-shaking, heart-stopping, murderous scream from directly behind us. I know what a mountain lion sounds like. This was not an animal. This was not someone playing or watching a movie. This scream sent birds flying from nest and made my heart drop into my stomach. It was genuinely the most depraved and violent scream that I have ever heard. This is a true story that I've only maybe told to 3 people, all of whom seem to brush it off as false. I've never been a person to push for the existence of paranormal or spiritual, but I genuinely believe I encountered something inhuman in those woods. Yeah, that was not okay. The screaming absolutely would have been my last straw. And like I said, I can't imagine smoking before experiencing something like that. Honestly, I think you guys are freaking weird for going into the forest in the middle of the night in Appalachia to smoke in the first place, thinking that you wouldn't experience anything like this, because this is actually insane. I would never. Someone did say that it seems like a pretty straightforward Sasquatch encounter. They say the voice you heard sounds similar to what has been described as samurai chatter in the Sierra Sounds. The creature walked you out of the forest, not making an appearance, but putting continual pressure on you to leave and staying on you until you left. Finally, once you get at the edge of the forest, you get the scream. I've heard this in many Sasquatch encounters. It's the final stay the F out of here warning with unmistakable intent. Some other clues are you were there during their prime hunting and awake time, Sasquatch being nocturnal foragers and ambush hunters. Your presence was messing up their hunting grounds and potentially being considered a threat to their family group. None of that makes it less scary, and I could be wrong. I'm only speaking from my time as a Sasquatch enthusiast. I've never encountered one personally. Honestly, after reading that comment, I kind of believe it a little bit. I'll probably have to do more research on that, but what do y'all think? Was it Bigfoot? That's crazy. Yeah, no, I would have never went back for sure. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the next story. This one is from r/paranormal encounters. It is titled Horrific Experience and Things Being Turned Upside Down. That already sounds like a demon, y'all. Last week I had a horrific experience. It was in the middle of the night and I woke up to footsteps in my apartment. I immediately got up and walked around, didn't see anyone, realized that my front door was stupidly unlocked, so of course I lock it. Do another check around the apartment and go back to sleep. Several hours later, I wake up to the same noises, but this time I stay still and listen. I don't think you locked your door in time. This sounds like a person's in your freaking apartment. The noises stop, but my bedroom door opens ever so slightly and I see the black outline of a person. Yeah, you're fucked. At this point, I'm petrified. I don't move or make a noise, I just wait. Finally, the figure just says 0 in a human voice. Sounded like any other man. I jumped out of bed, turned on the lights, and look around again. Nothing. I double-checked the locks, and this time I locked my bedroom door. I sit in my bed for a while waiting for something to happen before dozing off. In the morning, I'm still pretty freaked out, but I go to take a shower, and when I turn on the water is hitting the ceiling. The shower head has been turned completely upside down, and I realized the only place I didn't check behind was the shower curtain. Hell no. And I really don't think that I would have done that. Like, why would I turn the shower head 180 degrees around? It wouldn't make sense. Girl, what are you talking about? You would not have done that. That is insane. Anyway, I go about my day and try not to think about it too much. Flash forward to yesterday, I get in my car in the morning to go to class, and my rear view mirror has also been turned all the way upside down. After that, I'm just so confused and spooked. I wondered if I was sleepwalking and turning things upside down, but I've never been a sleepwalker in my 22 years, and apparently it's very rare for sleepwalking to randomly start in your 20s. Almost unheard of. Does anyone know what's going on? I'm not well versed in the supernatural, so I'm pretty out of my element. Is there some sort of spirit that turns things upside down? Is it a bad omen or something? Would love to hear people's thoughts. Girl, there was someone in your apartment. You either have an area that you didn't check, like the shower curtain. The fact that you never checked behind there makes me think that something really could have been in there. Apartments aren't that big, so I genuinely feel like you would have heard something going on, probably in your bathroom. Rustling of the shower curtain, maybe? I don't know. That is creepy. Like, actually creepy. I feel like since you didn't check behind the shower curtain, because that's one of the places I would have checked, for sure. I'm wondering if you have somewhere else in your apartment that someone could be hiding. Because the fact that your car mirror was also turned upside down is really making me think that it was an actual person. I don't know, y'all. This one beats me. I don't know what y'all think, but holy crap. Yeah, people in the comments are like, pack it up, move. Start documenting it. Maybe set up a camera. This doesn't sound like sleepwalking. No, it doesn't. Yeah, there's a lot of people that think it was an intruder. And if it's not an intruder, it's probably a poltergeist messing with things. The only reason I don't think that it's really a poltergeist is because the fact that it would have gone out to her car. Would it have done that? To turn her dang mirror upside down? Yeah, it's either an intruder or a poltergeist for sure. Let me know what y'all think. Okay, y'all. So we are at our last story. This one is actually pretty long and I am blind reacting to it. I have not read the story, although I did skim over it to make sure that, it was written good because I don't want to be reading stories that don't make any damn sense. But I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is from r/no sleep. It says, I think there's something haunting my son. I need help getting rid of it. I'm writing this from a hospital room. My little boy is fine now, but that thing could have killed him. For the past 2 weeks, something has been haunting my son. It could have started earlier than that, but this was the first time I noticed it. I will say strangely that this coincides with when my son got a few stitches for a cut on his hand. He fell off the monkey bars. I'm not sure that's actually relevant to what's happening here, but I'd figured I'd mention it, in the off chance anyone has any ideas. Anyway, 2 weeks ago that night, as usual, I was putting my 6-year-old son, Noah, to sleep. Noah struggles to fall asleep like a lot. So the bedtime routine is the same each night. I read stories and talk to him for about a half hour, and then I close the door and sit in the hallway waiting for him to sleep. If I don't sit right outside the door, he comes out of the room and starts playing. If I stay in the room with him, he keeps talking and talking and talking. This seemed like a happy medium. After reading for about 20 minutes outside his door, it got quiet. I took the opportunity to go downstairs and clean up a bit. When I came back up, however, he wasn't asleep. I could hear him giggling, talking to himself. I couldn't make out individual words, but he definitely wasn't asleep. I angrily yanked the door open. Noah, I stopped. Noah was fast asleep, curled in the fetal position under the covers. Huh? Now, this wasn't totally weird. Sometimes my son talks to himself right up to the moment he falls asleep. Sometimes he even babbles to himself in the middle of the night, so it was a little odd, but it didn't raise any red flags with me yet. In fact, I forgot all about it until the cabinet incident. Oh my god. I'm already getting chills, y'all. Noah and his little sister Zoe have this game that they play. I don't even remember how it started, but basically one of them hides in the kitchen cabinet and pushes the door or drawer out a little bit, and they always say they're a poltergeist. Are you for real? What the hell? I was putting on dinner when I heard the drawer push open, the metallic rolling sound as it popped out. Ooh, is it a poltergeist? I said with a laugh. The drawer pulled shut. I set down the knife and walked over to the cabinet, crouching in front of it. Sometimes I could see Noah's eyes in the gap between the counter and the drawer, staring back at me. I smiled and waited for the drawer to pop open. After a few seconds, it slowly rolled out on its hinges. I saw Noah's hand, curled around the top edge of the drawer in the darkness as he pushed it open. I see you, I cooed. I don't really think that's a poltergeist, but I didn't hear his laughter. Didn't see his dark eyes looking back at me. The hand darted out of sight, and then snap! The drawer closed hard, as if he yanked it back with all his might. Hey, don't do it so hard, you could smash your fingers. He didn't respond. Noah. Just then, footsteps sounded behind me. I'm hungry. I turned around. Noah was standing behind me. I knew where it was going, but I was hopeful that something else was going to be happening, but a foam Minecraft sword dangling from his hand. A second later, Zoe appeared out of breath, holding a pickaxe. I found you, she squealed, whacking him in the shoulder. I turned back to the cabinet, threw the door open. It was empty. I glanced from Noah to Zoe to the empty cabinet, the explanation clear, but my brain lagging 10 seconds behind. Were you just in the cabinet? I asked, but I knew there was no way he could be. No way he could have teleported from the cabinet to the kitchen behind me. No, he said. Zoe? No, I wasn't. I stared at the empty cabinet. Someone was in there. I saw their hand. I saw their fucking hand. But it was impossible. And there was no way they could have escaped without me noticing. There was just one explanation then, that I'd imagined it. Y'all, this is a dang book, so this goes on. I decided to see a doctor. I had never had full-blown hallucinations before, but I'd had weird stuff in my vision sometimes, like seeing a sparkling bit of light or patches of static like an old TV set, or thinking the hair in my eyes was a shadow person staring at me. I'd definitely gone down the Dr. Google rabbit hole a few times looking up things like Charles Bonnet syndrome and visual snow syndrome. The doctor thought it was probably just the darkness and the fact that I'd expected to see a hand there. So he sent me on my way, not too concerned. I probably wouldn't have been too concerned either, except that things continued to happen. At 2 a.m. I was woken up by the sound of hurried, pattering steps. Sounded exactly like Noah or Zoe running back and forth across the length of our house downstairs. I got out of bed and immediately checked on them. They were in their beds, fast asleep. I ran back in and woke up my husband, Dave. There is someone out there, I whispered, my legs shaking. I heard them downstairs. Y'all, I have the fucking chills, and the fact that we know that the son is already in the hospital has me freaking out a little bit. I locked myself in the kids' room with my phone ready to call 911, while Dave checked it out. But after turning on all the lights and checking every room and nook and cranny, he told me nothing was there. Maybe one of them just got up to use the bathroom. That's what Dave said. It was downstairs, Dave. Well, I don't know, Carmen. I checked everywhere. No one's in here, and all the doors are locked. Men. I didn't sleep until the first rays of dawn shone through the window. Over the next 10 days, that happened several times. Me waking up to the sound of what was clearly children's footsteps running back and forth downstairs, back and forth, back and forth. A few times when I went back down to check, I found the drawer of the poltergeist cabinet rolled out too. And there were other weird things. In the morning, I kept finding the kids' nightlight on the floor, even though both of them are afraid of the dark and would never unplug it. The clothes in their closet kept getting shifted and rearranged, like someone was pushing the hangers back and forth, making gaps here and there in the hanging shirts, like they were looking for something in particular. At that point in time, I'd figured the kids or Dave did it, but obviously now I'm not so sure. And then there was the incident in the bedroom 3 days ago. I was sitting out in the hallway as usual, waiting for Noah to fall asleep. Zoe was already fast asleep, but Noah was still talking to himself. I looked up from my phone and I suddenly realized something. The muffled voice on the other side followed a pattern. It was a bunch of syllables, and then it raised in pitch. Like Noah was asking a question, over and over. The same question. Usually his babbling is random Star Wars storylines and stuff like that, not questions. I put my phone down and strained my ears to listen. Why have no? Why have no? Ew. Those were the only 3 words I could make out. I twisted the knob as silently as I could and pushed the door open a crack. I heard Noah suck in a breath and then ask the question, "Why do you have no face?" My blood ran cold. I shot up and ran into the bedroom. "Who are you talking to?" I demanded, flicking on the light and sweeping the room. No one," he said timidly. I could tell he was lying. I turned around just in time to see the clothes hanging in his closet moving, like something had just disappeared within them. Out! Out now! I screamed, grabbing a sleeping Zoe and running out after Noah. Dave ran up to see what the commotion was. "Someone's in the closet," I screamed. "Someone's there." But no one was there. Dude! Chills. Dave searched and searched and searched. We even called the police at my insistence. No one found anything. I only had the courage to look in the closet myself when the kids were finally back asleep, and the entire house had been cleared by both Dave and the police. I walked up to the closet, phone flashlight in hand. My hand shook so much the white light trembled across the room, casting a strange, moving shadows, almost like a strobe light. After a deep breath, I flung open the closet doors. The hanging clothes had all been rearranged by the police and Dave. There were big gaps now, bearing the white wall underneath. I expected to see someone's legs in there maybe, poking out from the hems of the hanging shirts, but I didn't see anything. Just the kids' clothes and our random junk that had overflowed in our own closets. Stuffed into the wooden cubicles on the right were my boots, a couple scarves, and Dave's old Spirited Away costume from several Halloweens back. I quickly closed the doors, did a final check of the children, and went back to my room. It was only the next morning that I realized Dave's no-face costume was in our closet, not the kids'. The next day was when everything spiraled out of control. I was running on 2 hours of sleep, barely trying to keep it together, scrolling mindlessly through my phone. I walked into the kitchen to get a snack when I noticed the drawer was out. I glanced back through the hall. I could see Noah's leg poking out of the family room, his white sock and the hem of his mud-stained jeans. I could hear him babbling on about something. So it wasn't him in there, and Zoe was at a friend's house, so it wasn't her either. It was this thing, haunting our family. The drawer pulled in slowly as if it was taunting me. Oh my gosh. If I hadn't been so sleep-deprived and desperate, I would have made better decisions, like taking Noah out for a drive or calling my husband. But I was sick of this thing taunting me, sick of living a nightmare. I scrambled over and crouched in front of the cabinet. "Leave us," I growled. No response. "By the power of God, by the power of Jesus Christ, leave us. If this thing were a demon, maybe that would scare it." A soft rustling noise came out of the cabinet. "We will get a priest to exorcise you out. Get out now." A pause, then it spoke in his voice. "Mommy?" And something in me broke. How dare it? The shivers fleeting down my spine broke out into a hot rage. How dare it use my son's voice? How dare it? I grabbed the drawer handle and closed it with all my force. It collided with something on the other side. "Get out," I screamed. "Get out and never come back." I slammed the drawer again, then again, in a blind rage. "Carmen, what are you doing?" I stopped and glanced back to see Dave standing behind me, a look of horror on his face. And then the sound bloomed back into my ears like I was coming up from being underwater. Someone was crying in the cabinet. Oh no. No. I opened the cabinet. My stomach fell through. There was Noah crying, clutching his head. No. As Dave bent down and picked him up, I glanced back to the family room just in time to see a foot in a white sock, the hem of dirty jeans dart out of sight. It tricked me. It fucking tricked me. Y'all, I'm about to fucking cry. This is so awful. I rushed to Noah in Dave's arms and began to cry. Noah is fine. I apparently only hit him once with the drawer before he ducked down in the cabinet, but it could have been worse. Much, much worse. I don't know how much more of this I can take. This thing, whatever it is, isn't just blindly haunting me. It's using a strategy, wearing me down with sleep deprivation until it could take advantage of me and trick me. I don't know what to do, I don't know how to get rid of it, and I don't want to hurt my son. This story is making my hands sweat. I have freaking chills. I'm actually shaking a little bit. This is awful. This is absolutely a poltergeist, and I don't think the top comment says it sounds more like it's haunting you and not your son, and I agree. I think it's messing with her. I think for some reason she's actually the most vulnerable in this situation. It feeds on that. This is scary, and I don't know if it's already attached to you or not, which it sounds like it might be. I think it's good that you came on Reddit because a lot of times there is really good resources and stuff. People are giving her advice on how to cleanse or keep herself safe, things like that in the comments, which I love. I also understand that she was at her wit's end with this thing, but I think the fact that she was reacting to it in a violent way is going to make it want to do more stuff to you as well. This is scary. I have a kid, y'all, and if this was happening to me and I hurt my child over it, I would be losing my mind. It's definitely not a ghost. Someone said it's not a skinwalker. Skinwalkers would immediately attack you, but they can turn invisible at times and obviously can mimic their victims. So just pray it isn't that. Someone said you need to get a shaman, priest, witch, or someone to come and cleanse and give the house and mainly you an exorcism before you end up hurting Noah even more than you already have. I'm scared for her because it seems like she doesn't know what to do and it's not over yet, and I'm not seeing any updates. This was 2 weeks ago, y'all. So this entire story that I read to you guys happened over 2 weeks, so the fact that it's been 2 weeks and she hasn't updated is scaring the hell out of me. I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for updates, and I will comment under this video if anything changes. I feel like she also maybe needs to see her doctor again because the fact that she's had weird stuff in her vision sometimes too, it could be something like actually wrong with her as well. I'm scared for her. I actually am. And no one else is experiencing this, so she's sitting there and driving herself nuts and no one believes her. I feel awful for her. But yeah. Anyway, I do hope that she's okay. I want to know what you guys think of this one as well, so definitely comment below if you guys have any insight. So this episode wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, but in the future I probably will add more stories in. This is the first time that I've ever done anything like this, so it's also really late at night now. It's about 2 in the morning where I am, so now I have to go home. Try not to think about what I just read to you guys. Probably not a good idea that I cracked one of these open to read you guys these stories because I'm going to be up for the rest of the night probably, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I'm really happy that I did blind react to that last story because wow, that one really got me. But yes, y'all, I will have a video coming out later this week that's going to be my paranormal experiences. So that will be interesting. I freaking love telling my stories because some of them are really freaky. We're talking about ghost encounters, hearing creepy things, voices, shadow people, things moving around. Hail no. But yeah, that'll be really exciting, so definitely stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please let me know. Thank you for watching. See you guys later.